Legends of Wasteland City is a post-apocalyptic anthology series and may contain references to drugs, sex, and violence, along with the occasional vulgarity. You've been warned. Don't Stop Shooting, Chapter 6. The next morning, Liv and Jeremiah woke up with the first rays of sunlight that pierced through the many holes in the old house's walls. They'd not gotten much sleep, maybe a few hours by the time they'd gone through the prior night's ordeals, but they were refreshed, nonetheless, with added energy from the adrenaline flowing through their veins. They made a quick breakfast with a can of chicken noodle soup and some of the last oranges from the bottom of Liv's pack. There wasn't much else left in there as far as food went, so they'd have to find some more at some point. But for now, all they could think about was how close they were. Jeremiah folded up the blankets the best he could and added the 2 furs that Pops had given him to the duffel bag. He wanted to say thanks to the 2 children, and they did have to lighten the load in their bags as much as possible anyway. Liv stuck the duffel bag back up in the fireplace where they found it, and they left the old rotted farmhouse together. The farm Maybelle had told Liv about should be straight up the road they were on, but there wouldn't be much for cover along the way. There weren't any forests to hide in like back in Mudhaven, but from here they could see that some of the land had some crops growing, which might be enough to hide in if anyone happened down the road. A few miles on, they saw a group of what looked like teenagers working in one of the fields, hoeing dirt rows and planting seeds. None of them looked like slavers, so they approached through the field. A handsome brown-haired boy, around Jeremiah's age but almost a foot taller, with a dirty and torn shirt that barely clung to his chest, was the first to notice them.
Well, howdy.
A second boy spoke up from the group of plotters, but kept working his hoe.
You shouldn't be here.
Liv noticed each of the teens had a number branded on their forearms. She spoke to the friendlier first one, who was marked 122.
Hey, we're looking for a farm around here that uses kids for slaves?
You could get us all whipped just for talking to you.
Yeah, I ain't getting beat for nobody. So get out of here, would you?
They got my brother and sister.
The brown-haired boy noticed the small rifle on Jeremiah's back.
Yeah, the master's got a lot of people's brothers and sisters. Shoot, I had a brother. What about you, Dale?
Yeah, I had a couple before I came here.
So you're slaves too?
Plotters, you mean? They don't like that other word. Says it gives the wrong impression, the bastards.
So you can leave any time then?
Well, I didn't say that.
Why don't you run away? I mean, it looks like there's no one here watching you.
They're watching. They're always watching. So like I said, get out of here before they come round. Jimmy, you don't get rid of them. I'll tell them it was you who were acting all friendly like with them.
Y'all keep working. I'll get these 2 out of here.
Jimmy grabbed Liv's shoulder and started leading the 2 back to the road.
You know, kids who run get their toes cut off so they can't run again. Just 1 toe the first time, then all of them. I got 9 toes left, and I'm planning on keeping them so I can get out if I ever get the chance again. But these guys, they've got people up and down the railway looking for plotters who run. And just between us, I've been working on a plan to get us all out of here. Just need to figure out how.
Please, have you seen a little boy and girl come through here? What were their names, Jeremiah? Walter and Mary?
Maryland, that's right.
They don't use any of our names here. But hey, my mama gave me one, so you might as well use it while you're here. I'm Jimmy, known around here as 122. Pleased to meet you both.
Liv. And he's Jeremiah.
Hi.
Well, Liv and Jeremiah. Yeah. A dozen new kids got brought in a few days ago. If they were with them, they'd be up the road in the pig house. They make the new kids shovel out the pig shit. Breaks them. Makes them, like Dale there.
They looked back as Dale was telling the others to work faster, and Dale shot Jimmy a sour look.
You 2 got some real balls to take on these guys. You armed? I mean, besides that BB gun you got?
What's it to you?
I'm just saying, if you are, you might have a chance. There's only 3 of them running the fields today and 2 back at the property. One will be in with the newbies in the pig house, and the other will probably be in the main house. He'd most likely be the only one armed. I could help. If you got an extra gun for me.
I don't know.
I'm a great shot. Used to kill tuskers that ate up the grasses on our ranch out west. I could be...
Look, we appreciate the help, but we're not about to trust you just yet, especially after what happened last night.
Liv tried to walk away with Jeremiah in tow.
Holy shit. You guys killed the preacher guy. Well, good riddance to him. Yeah, most of the people of that town want nothing to do with the Masters, but Father Jeffrey's been sucking up to them hard. He's the one that caught me last time. The Master's been looking for you 2 all morning. That's one of the reasons there's only 5 here today. Look, just give me the BB gun. I can at least create some kind of diversion.
Let's go make sure things are actually as you say they are, and then we'll think about it.
The 3 crept up the road until the farmhouse and a couple old barns were in view, then beelined closer through a sickly brown cornfield where they couldn't be seen. Jimmy pointed to the larger barn behind the old ramshackle house.
You see that? That's where the new babies work.
They looked over to see the barn, just a skeleton of lumber really, half falling over to one side as the old barnwood slowly gave in to time and elements. Inside, one of the masters walked down the center aisle as several children shoveled pig slop into makeshift wheelbarrows pushed by the bigger children. It looked like the pigs were all outside in a holding pen out past the barn. The master barked orders at the children, who were slipping as they worked in the mud left and right.
Can you see them?
No, not yet.
Let's get closer for a better look.
She pulled her gun out from the back of her pants, and Jeremiah did the same. They dropped both of their packs on the ground. Jeremiah went to grab his BB gun as well.
Can we trust you?
Look, I want to get out of here just as bad as you want your kin back.
Leave him the rifle.
What?
If anything happens, I'll try my best to distract them.
Liv gave Jeremiah a look that made him know it was okay, and he handed the BB gun off to Jimmy.
Now, how does this thing work?
Jeremiah showed him how to load each BB and how to pump it up. 10 pumps was a full shot, but you could get away with 3 in a pinch.
Just make sure if I get in trouble, you guys use the real guns, okay?
Come on.
Liv and Jeremiah made their way through the cornfield around the farm buildings to reach the rear side of the pig barn. From this side, it was actually easier to see into the shadowed space inside, with the morning sun now at their backs. There had to be a dozen or more kids working inside, and the master made his way up and down the aisle, carrying some sort of long rod and periodically holding it threateningly at the children. Jeremiah strained to see all of the children's faces.
There they are.
Walter and Mary Lynn were working in a stall halfway down the barn.
Okay, wait until he turns his back again. Then I'll go in alone. You watch for the others. Got it?
Jeremiah nodded his head silently. The master in the old barn walked toward them, eyeing each of the children in his charge, and when he'd made his way to the end, turned around and walked back. Liv moved quick, half-crouched to the edge of the barn's opening. She put her back to the old barn wall and held her gun down in front of her, looking at Jeremiah to signal her when she could get the jump on him. Jeremiah watched as the guard turned back toward them, once again admonishing the children as they worked. One of the older girls, maybe 9 or 10, who was pushing a wheelbarrow, slipped, dumping all the pig filth on the ground right at the guard's feet.
What the fuck is wrong with you, girl?
He swung with his rod, hitting her right in the back. She fell to the ground and tried desperately to stand back up, but fell under another strike. She curled up tight on the ground as 3 more blows came in quick succession. Liv decided this was her chance and made her move, running in behind the guard as he struck the girl again.
Hey, stop hitting her.
He turned to face her.
Who let you out of the fields?
Sorry, master, but I ain't no slave.
She raised her gun and shot the man just below his ribcage. He fell to the ground as the children all screamed and cowered where they were, some holding their hands to their ears. The girl that had just been getting beaten ran and hid in one of the stalls.
Jeremiah was about to run in when he heard a woman yelling from the road on horseback.
Hey! Hey!
Jeremiah hid back in the corn, and Liv tried her best to get the kids in the pig house to quiet down.
Back on the other side of the farm, Jimmy watched as the woman on horseback turned toward the farmhouse.
Just as another master, holding a rifle in each hand, ran out of the front door, the horse rider stopped in front of the farmhouse's half-collapsed front porch.
That piece of shit 122 is trying to escape again. 138 just told me. He came up this way with a couple others.
Damn it, Dale.
I just heard a shot out back. Let's check it out.
The master from the farmhouse threw a rifle up to the horse rider, and they spread out toward the pig house. Inside, Liv was doing her best to corral all the kids out the back door, but several of them wouldn't move.
Come on. We're getting you all out of here.
A few more kids followed her instructions and went out the back, hiding with the others along the barn's back wall. But a group of the smallest were hiding together in one of the pig stalls. Liv spotted them, then at the same time saw the two masters heading her way outside the front doorway of the barn.
You guys gotta help me out here.
She jumped over the wall of the stall and tried grabbing the kids, but they wouldn't budge. Outside, Jimmy saw the two masters heading right for the barn. He aimed the BB gun at the one on the horse and took a shot, but the BB hooked left, missing entirely. He quickly racked in another and gave it 3 quick pumps, this time aiming a little high and to the right. This shot hit the horse right in its rear end, making it jump and whinny.
Whoa, what the?
Hey, asshole! I'm over here, you pig-smelling bitch!
Go after him.
Jimmy took off through the cornfield away from the farmhouse, and the master on the horse chased after him. The other master, on foot, kept walking into the pig house. Inside, Liv was trying to get the stragglers to be quiet and stay low. The master spotted his downed worker on the ground.
Harry, holy shit. You okay?
He ran over to the man still bleeding out on the floor, who pointed to the stall next to him.
She's in there. Oh, am I fucking dying?
Just hold your hand there.
He stood back up and pointed his rifle in toward Liv, who also stood up with her body blocking the kids. Outside, Jeremiah held his gun, still crouched at the edge of the cornfield. Liv needed his help now more than ever, but his body wouldn't move.
Hey, look, mister. Why don't you just let us go? Nobody else has to get hurt.
In the shadows of the old barn, the master could just see the gun in her right hand.
Where's the other one?
Who?
The other one you with?
There's no one else. It's just me here, mister.
Liv knew that if she raised her gun, she'd probably get shot in the process, and maybe the kids behind her too. She needed a... Jeremiah moved in from the barn's rear entrance shooting. The first shot got the master's right shoulder, and the gun fell out of his hand. But that didn't stop Jeremiah, whose next shot killed the man as he stood with a shot to his heart. But Jeremiah kept shooting till he was sure the man wouldn't move anymore.
Holy shit! Who taught you that?
As Liv looked at Jeremiah with surprise, he saw the one called Henry on the ground reaching for the other master's gun. He emptied the rest of his bullets into the slaver.
Don't stop shooting.
Ha! Okay, yeah. Nice work. I'm gonna have to teach you about conserving ammo, but yeah!
Walter! Marilyn!
Liv helped the two children over the gate so they could hug their brother, then gathered up the others. And Jeremiah picked up the rifle the slaver had dropped, and all of them headed back into the corn. Once they were a good distance away from the farmhouse, Liv stopped them.
All right. You stay here with the kids and keep them quiet. I'm gonna go and see if Jimmy needs help.
I'm all good.
Jimmy slipped out of the row of corn, handing Liv and Jeremiah's packs to them.
What? How did you...
Damn, I didn't realize you brought a whole army with you here.
He gestured at Jeremiah, who was loading 3 bullets from his pack into the clip of his handgun.
Ha. The kid's a knack. What can I say?
Quiet! Everyone quiet!
They all crouched down and stood still.
The one on the horse is back. I can get her.
No, let me. That woman's left more than a few scars on my body.
He took the master's rifle from Jeremiah, trading back the BB gun, and with Liv 1 step behind him, made their way to the edge of the cornfield,
where they could see the woman on horseback checking the grounds. She spotted the bodies
in the barn and dismounted, running in to see if they were still alive. Jimmy laid down and aimed. Jimmy took the shot.
Oh, fuck.
and the woman fell.
They sat for a minute, in the loudest silence these parts had ever heard, waiting to make sure no one else showed up. Then made their way back to the group of children where Jeremiah was still holding his siblings. He held out their arms so Liv could see the fresh scars in the shape of 218 and 227.
We've got to head north.
There's still at least 2 more that'll be on your trail, and many more by tomorrow if they get the chance to tell somebody.
Jimmy handed the first master's rifle back to Jeremiah, and Jeremiah passed the BB gun to Mary Lynn, the older of his 2 siblings.
It's your turn to learn to shoot.
You know, it fires a little to the left.
Yeah, I forgot to tell you that.
And slung his new rifle over his shoulder.
So, about those other 2.
Jeremiah stayed with the children while Jimmy and Liv quickly searched the farmhouse for any more weapons, but only found a few rounds of ammo for each of the rifles. The masters had the illusion of control over these kids, but were never going to be able to put up a real fight. Together, they made a quick plan and spread out, waiting for each of the 2 other field masters to return. And they did. And they never knew what hit them. Jimmy ran back to gather up all the kids working in the fields, while Liv and Jeremiah took the young ones north to where the road met the old 10 freeway, where they promised to wait for Jimmy and the others. They didn't end up having to wait long, seeing as the young ones moved slow. Jimmy's group was just a few minutes behind them. They took some time with each of the kids, trying to figure out where each of them was from. Jimmy would lead those who came from west of there back that way, and Jeremiah would take all the kids that came from the east. He was a little surprised when Liv decided to go back with him.
I thought you were going to head west.
Maybe. But first, I'm going to make sure y'all get back safe. Well, look us up if you ever make it to Nolans.
I will. Probably never see y'all again, but thanks for the help. From all of us. Even Dale here.
Can we keep moving?
Yeah, we better get going. Come on, everybody.
Jimmy led a good 24 kids westward. They took the route that Pops had given Jeremiah, and the old number 10 freeway took them all the way back through Houston. Of course, they made their way far around that city, then through the ruins of Lafayette and Baton Rouge. It took weeks, due to the slow-moving group of children who managed the trip better than they should have, considering all they'd been through. After Baton Rouge, they were able to find some of the children's villages, but several of the youngest kids didn't know where they were actually from. By the time they'd made it back to Mudhaven, to the sheer surprise and elation of Mama Cherry, Pops, and the rest of the villagers, they had 6 lost children remaining, not counting Walter and Mary Lynn. 2 of them belonged to the next village east, and the other 4 stayed with Jeremiah and his family as they spread the word to other villages in the area. Within just a few months, all of the children had been returned to their homes. Liv stayed until all the kids were back with their people, but eventually made her way back to Nolans. She said she was going to rebuild the rebellion there and take the city back, then try and take the railway back from all the bad men. She invited Jeremiah to join her when he was older. Even at his young age, Jeremiah knew Liv had her work cut out for her, but if anyone could pull off taking out 5 or 6 gangs by herself, it was Liv. Jeremiah tried his best to settle back into normalcy. He got his job back at the lumberyard, and Pop saw to it he got full pay. But he never really felt right again. There were bad people out there. None of the masters ever did come round looking for them, but deep down, Jeremiah knew they'd likely only scratched the surface of the masters. And whoever the railmen were could be doing more harm than good to innocent people everywhere the rails ran. The world he grew up in was more dangerous and corrupt than Jeremiah had ever thought possible. And even if he could just make a small difference, maybe it would be worth it. Maybe Liv could use some help, sooner than later.
Don't Stop Shootin' was written, directed, and narrated by me, Mike Makeshift Darling. This episode features the voice talents of Alexa Van Dum as Jeremiah, Megan Hensley as Liv, Jonathan Regier as Jimmy, Ian Slater as Dale, Jack Douglas as Master Harry, Callie Sue as the Master on Horseback, and Wynn Manning as the Master Boss. Legends of Wasteland City is a production of the Apocalypse Post and Studio Ruckus, and is sponsored by the Love Bombs, and backed by our many Patreon supporters, including Becca Morgan, Brianna Darling, and Carolyn Parker. You too can support Legends of Wasteland City by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/theapocalypsepost. Stick around after the break for news and notes with Makeshift.
The Love Bombs provide top-notch outcomes for the most discriminating clients all across the Wasteland. When you need executive escort and protection, intelligence analysis, direct action, or other specialized solutions, the Love Bombs provide a bespoke option tailored directly to your needs. Listen to this heartfelt testimonial from one of the Love Bombs' satisfied clients.
I hired the Love Bombs to save my precious Pookie Pie from them there scabs over yonder. They was fixing to turn his poor hide into jerky. Woo! Whew! I reckon not a one of those bastards will walk away from this scuffle.
Because it's on the body part.
Goodness gracious, I reckon I ain't ever seen a gun that big. The Love Bombs will give your enemies a licking they won't soon forget.
Yes, the Love Bombs. They're polite, professional, and have a plan to kill everyone they meet. The Love Bombs provide complete confidentiality in their free initial consultation. That's right, the initial consultation is absolutely free. Remember, the Love Bombs. Artillery available.
In a world full of holes,
The hole in the ozone.
Potholes.
Pinholes.
Manholes.
And ass.
Associated empty spaces.
Not what I was gonna say.
Well, you know what fills holes?
I've got a few ideas.
Patches.
Right.
They'll fill the hole in your jeans, the hole in your soul, and the hole in your mailbox.
Holy moly, that's a whole lot.
Yep. With the Apocalypse Post's Patch of the Month Club on Patreon, you'll get an original, sometimes exclusive, post-apocalyptic patch sent to your mailbox every month, and you'll be helping support this channel and all its content.
So how do I get in on this whole thing?
Sign up at patreon.com/theapocalypsepost at the $10 tier or above. Make sure your address is added to your profile and you'll get a patch in the mail every month. There's also 2 and 4 patch tiers for tribes of those very specific sizes.
Well, ain't that the whole shebang?
Now you're just digging yourself a hole.
Well, shut your pipe hole and sign me up.
Holy crap. They get it.
Hold on just a minute.
Okay.
What's the hold up?
The Apocalypse Post's Patch of the Month Club. We'll fill your holes. Sure.
Hey survivors, Makeshift here. Thank you so much for tuning in for this conclusion of Don't Stop Shootin'. This one took a while, I gotta admit. And I'll tell you all the reasons for that later on, but thank you so much for tuning in. I had a lot of fun producing this one. As you guys know, or may not know, I don't know. As you guys may not know, I've been living in the Southeast United States for the last, 8 years, give or take. And I wanted to kind of let a little bit of that culture come out. I've gotten to spend quite a bit of time getting to know the cultures of the area. If you guys have been listening to my original music at all, you know that I'm kind of playing a lot of folky storytelling stuff and just having a lot of fun with it. But I think I mentioned earlier when I first started producing this story that it's based on a true story. It was after the Civil War and after the slaves were supposedly freed throughout all of the United States. But this is a true story of some kids getting kidnapped and taken to Texas, which was outside the law for some reason, and how a young boy who had lost his father recently made the trip. He hopped trains and traveled farm to farm to farm to try to find his lost sibling, his stolen sibling. And when he got there, the slavers were, of course, out in the field, and the way I heard this story, he did not ask questions. He did not give them a chance to just let the kids go. He just shot, and I think that's an appropriate response when someone's trying to take away someone else's freedom. Not that I'm condoning violence, but when people are living outside the law, whether it's outside of a country that fought a war to ensure that everyone had his equal rights, or if we're talking about a post-apocalypse where the safety net of a national government that is supposed to protect the people is no longer an option, and you have to take things into your own hands, sometimes the time for talking is over. And I think that's what this story is all about, is every post-apocalypse story is a little bit of a warning, right? If it's zombies, it tends to be a warning about disease and how we're at nature's mercy. Same thing with apocalypse stories involving natural disasters and that kind of thing, whether it's The Day After Tomorrow or Volcano, any of those disaster movies. And of course, a lot of these societal breakdown movies, like with Mad Max and Book of Eli, it tends to be, people that couldn't get along and decided that bombs were better than communication, I guess. And we're seeing a little bit of that in the world right now. And you guys know I don't like to get a whole lot of political on this show, but just keep paying attention and fight the good fight, because there's some people out there that don't seem to think that working together is the best way to do things. So anyway, let's see. On today's episode, Win Manning joined the cast as the Master Boss, and in a very fun circumstance, he turned out to be my old college professor, using a screen name, so I didn't recognize him at first, but I did one of his shows. So it was a children's theater show called Twain Tales at Bridgewater State College. So how fun was it when he was like, hey, if this is the same Mike Darling that was in my show, I thought that was pretty cool. And yeah, I was just very happy to be able to have him on the cast, and always really neat when I cast somebody and then realize that I somehow know them. It just kind of plays in really nicely. Lets me know I'm doing the right thing. Also, a huge congratulations to Megan Hensley, who plays Hensley. Did I say Hensley? A huge congratulations to Megan Hensley, who plays Liv. She won a Voice Arts Award for Outstanding Commercial Campaign back in December. A huge deal when you're a voice actor, because very often voice actors are behind the scenes. They don't get a whole lot of face time, and so they got to go in front of a big old audience and receive her award for her outstanding work. I mean, she's just obviously very talented. I love working with her on this show and some others. By the way, Who the Fuck Killed My Sister is out in the world. That's the other show I produced last year. It came out fantastic, and of course, Megan is the lead amongst a wonderful cast of people. It's an excellent show. Please give it some love. We're hoping to do a season 2, and it all depends on how many people listen and how popular it gets. So give that show a listen, because I would love to hear from Chris, the writer, and have him say, hey, we're going to do season 2. Because it is a blast to work on these. Let's see. You guys heard the commercial for the Patch of the Month Club in the break there, and it's still going strong. We're doing more patches. We're going to keep it going. I think I said last year I was going to try it for a year and just see how it went, and it is going swimmingly overall. I'm very happy. The response has been great. People are loving it. I'm always getting new signups every month. So if you want to join, just go over to patreon.com/theapocalypsepost, sign up at $10 a month or more, and you will get a patch in the mail every month. And they're always either designed by myself or designed by somebody for the show based on Apocalypse Post stuff, or they are from the Wastelander community at large. Last month's patch came from Trench of the Ash Waste Nomads. It was a really cool shield patch, and it's true to life. If you wear the patch, you can call on him in a time of need, figuratively or in reality, I'm sure. He's just a really nice guy, Trench, and really, really thankful that he sponsored last month. And of course, we got a new patch this month. I don't have it in hand yet, but the announcement will be probably already out by the time you hear this. But just go over to patreon.com/theapocalypsepost and see which one's coming up. In other news, the Wasteland 2024 event map is now done and mostly all delivered. I think I've got like 2 or 3 people that never put their addresses in on the Kickstarter. So if you have not received your map, I'm probably just waiting for your address, because the way Kickstarter works is you support and they don't ask you for your address till the end. And I've sent out a couple of emails to those folks, so if you haven't gotten your map yet, please just let me know and I'll get it to you. But other than that, everything's been delivered. All the way from the printed versions to the digital versions to the shiny and chrome framed versions, which, holy crap, those cost a lot to ship. Goodness, I'll have to think about doing something a little different next time. But yeah, the event maps are out and done. If you didn't get one and you want one, I know the store's been closed because, well, along with why things have been a little bit slower around here, I've been dealing with some real-world personal apocalypses. I've been out of my usual studio space for quite some time, but should be getting back to normal soon. So that means we should be getting a little bit more regular with this show again. I should be getting more music out there. I should be getting more podcasts and this audio drama out there. Hopefully some more video work. There's a lot of stuff coming, and we should be getting back to normal pretty darn soon. Literally just waiting for some rubber stamps, and should be back to some new normal. Not the old normal, a new normal. What else? So as far as the audio drama, as far as Legends of Wasteland City, now that Don't Stop Shootin' is done, we've got some other Wastelander submitted stories to work through. I know some of you guys submitted last year and you've been waiting to hear them, and now it is time for me to start working on those. I've got some from the Farlanders. I've got some that individuals sent in. A lot of them will be like single story, so they won't be quite as epic as, not epic, but like long as this one. A lot of them will be singles, so we should be able to trudge through them pretty darn quickly, which will be great. And then of course I've got others that I've been writing for quite a while. I just need to be able to put more time into these, and I think I've told you before, they take a long time to produce these audio dramas. They are about a week of full-time work, if not more. And this one in particular, Don't Stop Shootin', I had to do a heck of a lot more sound effects work than I was expecting, because there's some very specific stuff in there that does not exist in a lot of the libraries I use. So yeah, my friends and family got to see me quite a bit just walking around the yard with a microphone in hand, just recording lots of different stuff. Footsteps and the wheelbarrow being dropped over with the pig slop in it. There was actually a muddy day here, and I was outside shoveling mud into a wheelbarrow, then dumping it out just to get that sound effect. So it's kind of fun. I really enjoy it. I usually get about 90% of the sound effects from the libraries, and then have to do about 10% Foley work, which is always a ton of fun. I actually really enjoy it. It just, when the weather's bad, it's tougher to do, especially when it's outside. And then you need a quiet day with no air travel and no wind and no cars and all that kind of stuff. All right, that's about all I got for this time around. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I've got more stuff coming for you, so make sure you're subscribed on the YouTube as well as wherever you're listening to this podcast. I'll be seeing you real soon. So if you enjoyed today's episode, please share it with a friend. And if you hated it, share it with an enemy. And go ahead and drop that wheelbarrow full of pig slop on their feet. Until next time, stay alive.